Hello and welcome to Waste Breakfast. My name is Godspity Izera and I'm joined by my amazing co-anchors Oni and Joy. Hi buddies, how are you? Just see now, see when I tell you guys that your name actually, you Oni and Oni, you guys sound alike. It is in my head. I don't know how I don't know how to actually pull that together.
So you see that alike because the other person you're referring to is Oni Damola.
No, it's not like it's not like
Oni.
that. Okay,
it's more so Oni. So just remove the Y and just so that one person has a Y and the other person has a Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
These niggas want to eat me up. I don't know what the problem is. But seriously, yeah, how you guys doing? How you feeling?
We're good. How are you?
No. You're not feeling like you're good. You're supposed to be giving me that baddie vibe.
Sorry. My energy is up. I'm great. I'm great. Thank you.
What's the baddie vibe? I said me I am really lost.
You know that our topic today is actually going to even speak on that. So let's just wait and we'll face Oni when it's time for that.
See if you know my point.
Do you get? We are going to face Oni when it's time for that.
Oh, so you guys are planning to attack me today? Is that it?
It's not attack. It's to learn.
Exactly.
Oh, shit,
learn from the baddest always.
Okay.
Period.
Oh my God. How about you, Joy? How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm excited about what today brings. I mean, happy new month, everyone. Today's the first of March. I'm super super excited about today, and I can't wait for the day to come to an end because now it's Friday again. Thank God it's Friday.
TGIF.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can actually see that everybody on this table is as happy as anything. I'm so excited because I know for sure that today, this table is gonna be shaking. It's gonna shake. So yes, I am very excited, and for sure, we'll be having a guest on this set. Like, I don't know how to actually feel. I just feel like it's going to be a very interesting one, right?
Yes,
so today we'll be discussing the topic: does Gen Z fashion culture give knacking vibes? Oh shit! I mean, I cannot overemphasize the need for a bell on this table. Because do you get, as I mentioned this now, you're supposed to do something like background. It's gonna be. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be an interesting one, yeah. So yeah, but before we actually even go into the topic, let's actually take a moment to catch on the latest headlines around the globe. Please stay with us. You're still watching Ways Breakfast. I'll be taking you on a journey across the African continent through the lens of The Punch, a leading newspaper based in Nigeria. The major headline read, Punch at 50, past confabs deceitful, Nigeria is decentralized, says Shoinka. Beneath the major headlines, we have past confabs organizers not serious, Nigerians must negotiate their unity. This was said by Nobel laureate. Beneath that as well, we have Punch celebrate 50 years of impact at anniversary lecture. And by the side of that, we have federal government vows to end hardship. Below the picture on the newspaper, we have the representative raise 23-man panel on Olusaye report, demand review. Next to that, we have Customs sees 1.7 billion naira fake drugs in Oyo, Osun State. The next headline says federal government pays $120 million from gas debt as blackout spread. Yes, so you see from these headlines, you can actually see that there are so many things happening in Nigeria. But there's one that actually caught my attention, which is the major headlines that actually read Punch at 50, past confabs deceitful, Nigeria must decentralize, says Shoinka. So let's start from the fact that Punch is actually celebrating their 50th anniversary in Nigeria. I mean, it's funny that this, do I say it's funny or do I actually find it interesting that Punch has actually been in existence for a very long time. 50 years. 50 years is a lot, you know? Yes.
The golden jubilee.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot. And they have been consistent. They have been, you know, it's a very nice one indeed.
50 years?
50 years. Do you like
congratulations, Punch.
Yes,
I envy you, but congratulations on that.
So yeah, so what's the major headline talking about? It's literally, since we already know now that the Punch is actually celebrating their 50th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Now they actually bring the industrial leaders together to actually celebrate with them. So they are having something like a lecture conference, right? Yeah. Now in this lecture conference, this is actually, I think for me, I actually feel like the reason why they actually invited those people was not just to celebrate, but to actually talk about the challenges, like the happenings of like what's going on in Nigeria, you know. So they came together, and our able professor, Wale Shoyinka, was able to actually say certain things that I actually find that very interesting, right? And that's why I'm actually talking about it. So he spoke about the fact that Nigeria actually needs to be decentralized. You know, power needs to be decentralized. And when I mean by power being decentralized, we already know now that Abuja, that's the territory, the federal capital territory, actually holds the central power. But now, Wale Shoyinka is coming from the aspect that if this power that is actually given to the Abuja is now shared accordingly to the states, it will actually enhance whatever. So let's start from the challenges we have in Nigeria. We have insecurities, we have lack of food, infrastructures not being met, you know, a whole lot, job opportunity. We actually have issues from almost all sectors in Nigeria, right? Now he's not saying that with all those issues, because we have one center power, that's why we are, all these issues have actually not been met. But if this power now is not distributed to all the states, the 36 states we have, it will make it more easier. And I actually think I bite his idea as well, because somehow I feel like just as he has said, the Abuja has more power, like the federal capital, right?
Yeah.
It has more power, more than other states. Now, let's say, for example, now what happened in Ekiti State, the whole kidnapping thing that happened a few weeks back, right? Now, imagine now that Ekiti has a particular kind of power that I can actually function without the, how do I put that, without the central power. You know, I feel like most things would have not actually taken place in Ekiti. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because trust me, the president cannot be everywhere at the same time.
Yes.
So I feel like power actually needs to be delegated to these states so that they can actually have any kind of power to actually do what they want to do. So it's not like they would actually just go ahead and doing what they want to do without actually telling him. But it is just important that sometimes they carry out what they need to carry out, or the activities they need to carry out or put in place in order, or implement in order for a particular thing to actually start functioning even before they tell him. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I actually go with this idea. Does anybody do you actually have anything to say?
Agreed.
Do you want to say anything?
No. How about you, Joy?
For me, I go with him also, because
Right.
if you're going to decentralize power, especially in terms of security,
Yeah.
you can't be in Abuja knowing what is going on in Port Harcourt. You can be in Abuja knowing what is going in Sokoto. So
You
the
know?
people who are there are the ones who understand what is happening with them. So
Yeah.
they need that authority and they need that sole power to be able to curb the situation in their state, because you being there, you are far stretched from where they are. So
Exactly. So
he made a lot
exactly
of
my
sense.
point too. Yeah. So Oni, let's hear your headline, please.
All right, I'm moving away from the African continent to an international spectrum, and today I'll be giving you guys today's headlines from the New York Times.
Okay.
So, for the main headline, we have the East Coast is sinking. Land is slumping into the ocean and compounding the dangers from rise in sea levels. On the far left of the paper, we have the Supreme Court agrees to hear immunity case. Decision helps Trump by delaying a trial. On the far right of the paper, we have hope for Biden and a warning from Michigan. Primary test is passed and Gaza is still a thorn. We then have McConnell tells Senate it's time he steps aside and he's giving up leader's post. On the bottom part of the paper, we have tired of Israeli political strife, the soldiers have a new mission, and lastly, we then have he rescued 1.5 books in Yiddish, and that's chutzpah. I think that's Jewish, I don't know. but yeah, but okay, so what stood out to me most in this paper is that there's hope for Biden and the warning from Michigan. So I've been currently watching the news and keeping up with the elections, and last I heard, Biden was losing political party members based on the war in Israel and him not really putting in efforts or like supporting the war. So he's been losing political party members, but as of today, Biden has currently won the Michigan primary election. So it does show that there's a bit of hope for Biden, but this election has also caused President Biden to have both concern and hope for the election due to the which has reviewed the party's painful splits and the divisions between the parties. So this is of concern because it kind of shows that Biden, because he's not really, putting in efforts or doing anything to really support the war in Gaza, that he's literally just losing political party members. He's losing members, and is of concern for him. So yeah, that's what really stood out to me in today's news.
That's a nice one right there. So how about you, Joy? Let's hear your headlines.
All right, so coming back to Nigeria, and right in the Nation newspaper, the major headline reads that Tinubu, Labour's constant strike calls unacceptable. And the top left, I have restructuring necessary now than ever, says Shoyinka. Right next to it, I have it's time to protect yourself with spiritual powers. Oni tells Oba, and that's on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. On page 6 also, I also have Jazz Bank eyes 10 billion naira from private investors. And page 16 tells us that Osime Oshola top Faith Award nominees. And that's all I have from the Nation newspaper. Now, the story that gets my interest here, that really, really gets my interest and looks interesting to me, is a major headline that reads, Tinubu, Labor constant strike calls unacceptable. And the story says that as of yesterday, which was 29th of February, President Tinubu came into Lagos State and he came to commission the Red Line Trail at Ikeja with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Congratulations to him on that. And in his speech, he did mention that he's objecting to the instant strikes and threats of the Nigeria Labour Congress, saying that they should understand that they are not the only voice of the people, and they are not the only one that, I mean, they need to break up with the whole calling of strike and everything. Now, for me, what is really, really interesting me here is to say that Nigeria Labour Congress, can you come back to your table, sit down, and create a new blueprint for yourself? Because clearly, protest is not working for you. You can't come up every time when you see that, okay, I mean, I said it some days ago that this whole inflation and high cost of living did not start today. It didn't start with President Tinubu's regime. It started long ago from 95 naira liter of price fuel, and price of one fuel liter, right? We started buying fuel from 95 naira, it got to 185, it got to 360, and now we are looking at what, 500, 600, some places 700, and then when it gets to 700, that's when we think we want to come out to protest, or the cost of living is too high, it's too this, everywhere is going up, the economy is crashing. We saw this thing happening before now, and we've seen that in recent time, or over the years, traditionally, protest has not been working in Nigeria. They would call for protest today, and the next day, almost 24 hours immediately after a 3-day protest has been announced, you're hearing that the protest is suspended, and we are going to have an in-house conversation with the government, and they're going to come back to us. We are expecting a review. It's not just NLC, both ASU, all the people that go on strike and protest, it is not working. Let's come back to the blueprint and look for something that can work for us. Protest is a good thing. It's an avenue to call the government out to say, hey, you're doing what you're doing over there. You're sitting on where you are. You're not looking at us here, the citizen. You're not looking at what is happening in the country you're ruling. So you need to call. We are calling your attention to put an eye to this. That's what protest is for. And it's actually good. But clearly, it is not working in Nigeria. And we need to do better going forward. So maybe we need to strategize as to if we want to use protest, how best can we utilize it to achieve the aim we want? If we're not going to use this, and we know that governments are going to corner us again and say, let's have an indoor meeting, then no, let's not use protest. Let's use other legal peaceful means to create a voice where the governments can listen to us, and platforms like media houses, talk shows like this would really, really help a lot as opposed to protesting. That's just for me.
Wow. So, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot going on in Nigeria. It's a lot going on in...
Clearly.
You know, I mean,
clearly.
like, it's, I don't know. But I just feel like with time, when we have the right people on seat, with time, things will get better.
And the question is, who is the right person?
And until we get the right person, that's the only thing me I can say.
Because I did say earlier that the problem of Nigeria is not the seat or who is on that seat. Because another person or your saint might come there and he's seen another worse situation and it will keep crumbling, and you'll be like, oh, this person does not know the work. It is not about who is sitting there on the seat. It's about how do we get to the deep roots of this matter, pluck it from the roots, deal with the roots of this matter, remove it and throw it away so that it doesn't grow back. Because if you're just cutting a branch of the plant, it will grow back because it's still fertile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joya said a lot, so as I am, and Oni too. So, I mean, we've actually just brought you news around the globe, right? I really don't have much to say if I'm being sincere. But the whole Nigeria thing will be better. So we're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be diving straight to the topic of today, which is, does Gen Z fashion culture give Knacking vibes? Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Yes, yes. Don't forget that today we'll be discussing on the topic, does Gen Z fashion culture give knacking vibes? Remember, you can join this conversation by either sending us an SMS or a WhatsApp message to 081 80384663. I repeat, 081 80384663. Yes, so just as the topic goes, does Gen Z fashion culture give knacking vibes? So let me quickly do a bit of introduction or explanation on what that topic is, right? Now, first off, you'd agree with me now, you agree with me that Gen Z and other generation are totally two different people. Like, starting from our character, the way we behave, the way we talk, how we do things is just totally different. You know, I mean, even the millennials that are actually even close to us, we are just two different. We are like, it's just that we actually do things as if we are in two different worlds. You feel me? And I actually think we are in two different worlds.
No,
really.
we are.
You know, today we're talking about the fashion style of the Gen Z, the fashion culture of the Gen Zs. Now, if you can probably remember back, you see that, or if you've seen your parents' picture.
Yeah.
Have you seen your parents? If you see my mommy's wedding gown, hell. I look at that gown. It's not looking Vicky James.
Oh, really?
Do you understand? No, like, I mean, I'm trying to make you understand now that you see that the previous generations, the way they do things are just totally different from ours.
Sure.
I look at my mom's gown. It is a skirt, a very long skirt like this, and one top that I don't understand how the tailor sewed it. You understand? Then one, it's just a whole lot. I feel like it's too. How do I put that now? The clothes was just looking too much.
Oh, no.
Do you get? It was looking so unnecessary.
Nah, I can't relate.
You can't relate.
My mom was a hot cake back in the day.
Come on.
I get it from my mama. My mom was a hot cake back in the day.
Your mom is a recent generation. So my mom, mom's goal was even funny. To the point they had to frame it, and each time I get to look at that frame, I'm like, oh my god.
Do you understand? You be seeing
and I asked her a very
funny
simple question. I'm like, mommy, please, how do you feel wearing this? Like, how did you put on a gown and it's covering almost your entire face? Even for anything. Heat. Was it raining when you were wedding? Like, was it cold? Was it not hot?
Was it her veil covering her face, or did she have like a mask on with the gown?
If it's a mask, I understand. It is a full-blown gown, long, even sweeping the floor. But the entire face is covered down to her neck.
No
so
way.
And then there's a veil.
No way.
Oh my god.
That one is looking too.
I'm grateful I was not in that generation.
Oh my god.
No.
So you see, but now what the topic really nice, what it's about really, it's not just about the way we dress and how different it is from other generations. It's just that recently, the way we dress. Let's start from Ira Star. Oh, hallelujah. Let's start with shake. We want to shake this table. Perfect example. You know,
if you have seen that TikTok video, you will know what I'm saying. Perfect example.
Where actually, I love that babe because of the kind of lyrics she has with her songs, you know. But her dressing, hell, her fashion sense is Gen Z. Do you understand? That Gen Z body is actually badding because man, you can see that cloth, actually that her skirt. Oh my god, that her skirt. And the way she shakes her waist, like the way she moves.
Ever heard skirts must be the size of a belt?
Hey.
Sure.
Repeat it. Come on.
Skirts must be the size of a belt.
Sure.
Sure.
Ain't no problem.
If your skirts are not shorting, then are you really skirting?
Hey.
Are you really skirting?
Repeat that thing again. Oh God. See, when I'm coming tomorrow, I'm not even going to lie. Or on Monday, since today is Friday, I'm going to bring my pen and biro. Like, my book and pen. No, no.
I thought you wanted to tell me right now that you bring your skirt.
No, but I'm going to bring my book and biro. You're supposed to be jotting it down.
Take notes and jot things down.
How did you say that again?
If you right things and jot things down.
Exactly.
Take notes and jot things down.
Yes, boss. I'm
Baby,
writing.
I want you to repeat that thing again. Is it the skirt is not skirt? How did you put it?
The skirt is not skirting if it's not as short as a belt. Is it really skirting?
Period. You understand? The skirt is not skirting if it is not what?
If it's not as short, as a belt. Because skirts must be the size
of a belt. Olumamio. I say I need a bell on this segment. I'm not joking.
You can bring a skirt then.
No, but on a more serious note, like I actually feel like we need a bell. Because really, I should just say this thing. You will now where they actually they rise. You're supposed to ring you like this. Do you know what? Like that is fact. From how? This is not my fault.
I thought you were yes. I am study from her. Okay,
it is not my fact. No. It's not like that, right? I actually just like her idea or how she just explained it now. Like, bro, because the way like, how do I even put that? This Gen Zs, okay, me, I'm a Gen Z, but I am not that Gen Z.
No, I am not Gen Z.
No, I know. I think do I say there's a difference between being a Gen Z and a Gen Z body?
Yes.
There should be a difference. Like me, I'm a Gen Z.
There is a difference.
There's
a clear lining to it.
Exactly.
There's literally a clear lining to it.
Please, come on, explain to us again.
Because you see, right, for me, I'd say that looking at this topic, it was when I saw it yesterday, I'm like, okay, calm down.
Okay.
What was I just going to be looking at today? I literally had to go back on the internet, right? And I went to TikTok, which is like the very easiest place to get all this kind of content.
Yeah.
And I was literally looking, reading. That's why when you mentioned somebody's name, I said perfect example. It is one thing to say there's a change at the manner at which people do things, right? And you did mention, and we explained here, that when it was our mother's turn, they were all covering and everything. But right now, there's been a change because there's a shift in the world entirely. It's not just Nigeria alone. The entire world, there is a huge shift that you say that the Gen Z generation is the shift that you were expecting all this while. It's the technology you were expecting all this while. But it's, I would say, you people will come for me, but me, I would tell you, they say the truth is bitter.
Honest truth.
And that's why in the court of law, they will close their eye when they're telling you the truth. So maybe I should close my eye when I'm saying this thing. That you want to dress in Gen Z does not give you the right to go for indecent dressing. Because when you do the indecent dressing and the brothers come, sorry, I'm using brother, that's church here. And the guys, nigga, come to you and they tell you, knock on something, knock, and you feel like, hey, why you harassing me? Excuse you, harassed yourself in the first place.
No. Why? Because of the kind
of the question is, why would you dress to expose certain organs of your body?
Who told you I'm dressing for you? Who told you I'm dressing? You know what? I feel like it shouldn't be a case of, oh, because I'm dressing in some type of way that it gives you the audacity or the rights to even approach me or have such thoughts in your head. I mean, if you're thinking like that, then quite frankly, no offense, but you're sick.
Okay,
you're sick.
Oni, you mentioned something, right? And let me actually take you back to it. Now, why will a Gen Z body dress like that?
Thank you very much.
Okay, look at, to feel what?
To feel good.
Is it
to express themselves? No.
Okay, is it a
What
body?
expression?
Is it a body? Is it a body positivity thing, or is it a self-esteem thing? You know, it's just like when most people do
Both.
BBL because of their self-esteem,
Both.
and they want people, you know, because they actually feel bad of the way
Yeah,
the way
no.
they look, and they want to, you know, go and like restructure their body and all.
You
So
could
why did you guys actually dress like that?
you could see it as both. Body positivity,
Okay.
self-esteem. I mean, obviously, a female will dress how best, they want to feel.
Okay.
And if I'm putting on an outfit, obviously, I'm not thinking in my head, oh yeah, like I'm dressing for you to come and judge me. Like, no, I'm dressing for myself. I'm wearing what I know I'm going to feel good in,
Okay.
look good in, and act good in. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, my dressing should not bring up or like any it shouldn't be the case. And
Okay.
if your mindset is set like that, then you are the problem. You are the problem.
How about you, Joy?
So-
What do you actually think
So
about
first
it?
off, I want to ask on you a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it until you expose certain organs of your body and make
Before
your
you
body
not
quite
feel-
open to the public, that's when you feel good? I'm just asking. I mean, baseline question.
Okay.
Is that when you feel good?
Who said I'm opening it to public? I'm like who says I'm considering the public when I'm dressing?
Okay.
So why do you okay?
Okay, I understand. Sorry, guys.
So why do you take pictures, and why do you post it on Instagram if you actually don't want people to see you?
For myself, it's not about people. It's always been about a me thing. Like who gives a damn what anybody wants to think or what anybody wants to say? Like if I'm doing something, I'm doing it for myself to feel good about myself.
Okay.
Like your
Go on.
opinion or it doesn't matter. Quite frankly, I mean you're allowed to have your opinion, but that doesn't affect me. That doesn't matter. That
Okay.
doesn't relate to me. It's
Okay.
just.
But will you agree that at some point, one place in you people's head, you guys actually post because you want people to see you? Yes or no? You want people to see how sexy you look. You want people to see how
People post
how
for
curved
different
you have.
reasons.
Why do you
People,
post?
I post because I like media. I like the camera. Like I love the camera.
Okay.
I love the camera. It's just my thing. I post to feel good about myself.
I actually feel like Joy has a lot to say. Oh yeah, upload.
She clearly has a lot to
upload.
say.
So God's beauty, right?
Yes,
let, me,
baby.
let me come to this girl with one very, very simple point.
Okay.
Now, one thing I know is that, yes, there's a change, there's a shift in the world, there's a lot of change, but the law still stands.
What law?
I'll come in.
Okay.
That's one thing you are not seeing, no, that the Constitution and
Make
the
sure
law,
you say the law
Calm
and
down
who created
now.
the law.
the law
Just,
still
allow her.
stands. It
Okay.
is not changing. So whether you're a Gen Z, you're a Gen X, you're a millennial, you're an alpha, you're still under the same law that applies to every generation. And Section 26, subsection 1 of the Violation Against Person Prohibition states, and I quote,
Okay.
a person who intentionally exposes his or her vital organs or a substantial part thereof with the intention of causing distress to the other party, or that another person seeing it may be tempted or induced to commit an offense under this act, commits an offense termed indecent exposure. So that you are dressing to suit yourself. Do you actually put yourself in the shoe of the other party to say, imagine I were to be a male person, imagine I were to be a guy who by nature and by default, right, I get to see a lady's body and I am attracted, right? My hormone starts to immediately starts to rise, starts to stand. I'm just so, oh my God, this girl is fine. God, can you see the, I don't want to mention names, right?
I got it.
But, and then you are now coming to dress that way, show me more of it. And then you think, when I look at you, the first thing I'm supposed to think of is, hey, what are you doing? What is your job? What do you do right now? Excuse you. The first thing I'm going to be thinking of, oh, how have you smashed this girl? How have you knocked this girl down?
But don't you
Because
think that's
definitely
only-
you had given me an opportunity to think about that. Mind you that I have a right of expression. Under the fundamental human rights, I have every right to think about whatever it is I want to think. Now, it is your responsibility to give me that avenue to say, okay, go ahead and think this. They say when you give handshake, the person will want to stretch and collect elbow. So the handshake is, by the time you are dressing indecent, they want to stretch and collect more of the indecent dressing. They want to see more, they want to collect more than what they are seeing. You already shown it to them. So right now, they are all these that is in their head is that they just want to plug into it. And by law, you can't take that person to court. Because if you take that person to court,
Okay.
the law stands against you.
Okay. So Joy, I actually agree with you, but I have a question. But we're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive in straight. We have a guest. Our guest is here. Oh my God. Yes. So let's quickly take a break and bring our guest in. Stay with Thanks for staying with us. We have our guest. Joining us now is Ifeyinwa Banafo, a content creator and a fashion inspo. Finished from Trinity University in Texas and holds a bachelor's degree in psychology. Baby, how are you?
Interesting.
Hi, baby. How are you? I mean, you actually look very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You actually do. I mean, you already know our topic, right? It was
Yes.
hair. I mean, we're talking about does Gen Z fashion culture give Knacking vibes, right? But for now, we're actually having a very serious, heated conversation, right? So let me quickly give like a summary of what has actually been spoken about. So you know, before now, we actually have this. How do I put it? We have other generations and the way they dress, the way they actually talk, their character and all of those things when it comes to like global things that everybody actually do, right? Now, if you look at the way we actually, so before now, baby girl here has been giving us definitions, plenty definitions, and I mean, she actually gave us insights on who normal Gen Z is and the Gen Z body, right? So, you guys are actually the Gen Z body. Do you actually agree that you're a Gen Z body?
100%.
Yeah.
Shake
That's
your
my
girls.
girl. That's my
So
girl.
I think we should not start from the place of who is a Gen Z body actually. Since you are one, give us like probably little bit about like since you I mean you are one you actually agree that you're a Gen Z body. Just give us little hint on who that person I mean the Gen Z body who they are.
Okay, I would say Gen Z body is someone that's like very bold and expressive. You don't necessarily care like what anyone thinks. Like how you express yourself is like how you want to be.
Okay.
The noise doesn't matter.
Hey, she said it's noise. She said it's noise. I said we need bell on this set. What?
hear that?
She said the noise
Period.
doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't.
Because it does.
Because it don't.
Oh my
it
God.
Don't matter. It don't.
So, I mean, how often do you actually get this whole noisy? I mean, I'm very sure the noise will be coming every time. How often do you actually get this whole noisy thing?
I feel
You know
like-
what I mean by noisy?
Yes, I feel like every time I step out, honestly,
Okay.
just based on like I know the conversation,
Yeah.
men just feel like they have a right or an entitlement to talk to you,
Okay.
and you have to answer. So like every time you step out, and it's just like I don't actually give a what you're saying.
She doesn't give a
okay.
blip.
I get it. I get it. But what do you actually think? I mean, look at the Gen Z fashion culture, right? It's actually I don't know, but I feel like we actually have more of the body in the Gen Z world than even the Gen Z themselves. See Gen Z. Me, I'm Gen Z. You guys are bodies. You know that? So, I mean, I just feel like our dressing sense, what actually inspires you guys? What influences you guys to actually dress the way you guys feel?
Honestly, if I put something on, as long as I feel comfortable in my body, like that's really what
Like
it is.
it's confidence. I literally, it's
Yeah.
how I want to feel. You know, if I feel I look good, then I look good.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with, are you sure it has nothing to do with, you want people to actually see you,
No.
your body is actually fine, you want people to actually see that,
Oh no, I know
got
my
great
body's
boobs, man.
good, but like it's nice to show it off. But genuinely, I just feel like comfortable in the way I dress like already. So it doesn't really matter. Like,
That's cool.
It's a plus that people like get to see it. But
Hey,
I go out and see myself and I'm like, wow, I look good.
we need Bella.
Buddy
I'm
looking
not
good.
That's a very interesting question.
Sure, baby, why
So,
not?
hi, Ife, welcome. I actually thought that you said, I mean, it's a plus that they get to see the body.
Yeah.
But you already know that your body looks good and you don't care about the noise, in quotes, that you said. However, is there a problem if what you're dressing, right, that you think it's a plus to them to see, and they look at it and they're enticed by what they see because they are, number one, they're humans, and number two, they have human feelings, and you didn't give them that opportunity to say no, don't think about it. No, they're expressly right to think about what they want to think about. So is there a problem if a guy walks up to you and said, oh my God, I look at you and I look at the way you're dressing, it's really giving the body vibe, and I feel like, you know what, I want to knock you.
That's
Is there a problem
entitlement.
there?
Exactly. I feel like the
entitlement.
problem comes like just right after you said, I like the way you're dressing, and like you don't need to put that "and" when you're talking to me. Like I know that I look good, but it's like you could stop like I like the way you're dressing, period. Why do you have to take it to now you feel like, hey, I can say this to you and you don't want me to feel offended. Like, as you just said, everyone has a right to their opinion, great. I have an opinion to feel offended because why are you adding all that extra stuff to me? I don't know you from anywhere. Why are you telling me you want to knock me? Like, it's just, like, weird. Like,
I get it.
this is a stranger. Move.
So as right as it is that everyone has the right to feel offended, and you are very right to feel offended by that. Now put yourself in this space where there's this guy, hot looking, 6 packs, bundles, abs, and everything, and then he wears this very tight shirt that stuff starts to stick out, right? And you
Are you sure you're not a Gen Z bad?
No,
Because this is explanation.
because when I'm talking, you would think, I just have a problem with this Gen Z. But no, let's not look at it for. I'm not so going to be biased to say it's just a female angle. Let's put it to be very balanced, and let's get you to the male sector,
But we don't
right?
look at males like that.
Thank
We
you.
don't- we don't
Oh my God, you
so-
don't want to know. Anyways, it's not you I'm asking, it's my guest I'm asking. So, Ife, now there's this guy, hot looking, beautiful 6 packs, like God bears and everything. And then he wears a very tight, you see the way I pronounce it, man? Tight shirt like this. And then everything is just popping out. And you're just walking by and you get to see it. Sherry, what I'm doing now is not what you were doing.
No. But it's one thing to admire. It's another step to walk up to someone, tell them they look good, and then now project what you feel like you want to do to them.
So
onto
when
them.
you admire, what thought comes into your head?
I'm just like, wow, this person looks good, and keep it pushing, because how many people do you see in a day that look good? A couple. Why do we need to take it a step further? Unless I'm like trying to move to a person, there's just no need. Like, okay, I know they look good. Like, if I'm wearing something tight, I know I'm wearing something tight. I feel like people forget, like, you see yourself in the mirror, like, you know. So I don't like, it's like those comments from other people, you don't necessarily need it, because I know what I'm wearing, I know how I look. Why do you feel the need to now project whatever you feel like you want to do to me onto me? What's that for?
Okay, so Ife, I actually need your intake on the topic, right?
Okay.
Does Gen Z fashion culture give knacking vibes? Let's be realistic. Let's be
Honestly,
honest. Yeah.
I want to say no, because I feel like people are overreacting when they think that this is the most exposed generation.
Okay.
If you really look back to how, I don't want to say my parents, but if you really look back to like the 50s and stuff, like
Yeah.
they wore a lot of short, exposing stuff. Like when women
Did
really
they?
started, they
Like
did.
I said, my
because
mom was a
after-
hot cake. Yeah. They
After
did.
a while, when
Okay.
women really started having that free expression in the way they were able to dress, like you could really see like the people that really wanted to express themselves. Like I feel like now, I guess because everyone's more free and more open,
Yeah.
men then think, or the people that want to approach you then think like, hey, I have the right to say this because, oh, we're in a world where everyone has a right to do this and that. Yes,
Yeah.
you can, but you don't necessarily need to come up and tell me all these weird things. Like, back in the day, I don't think you'd be able to come up to me, hey, you look good, I want to not, like, that's weird. You probably get like, I don't know, burnt at the rope or something.
I get it. So, before now, right, I was asking what actually influences or inspire you guys to dress, in dressing the way you guys do. Does social media also have an impact in that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
So, you guys actually dress now too because you actually want to impress social media?
Not impress social media, but it's like everything is so accessible with your phone. It's very easy to see inspiration. That's what I think about it. It's very easy to see inspiration. Like I go on Instagram, I see someone that looks good, I see a reel, I'm just like, wow, I would love to recreate this, or wow, I love the way they're wearing this. Would I be able to do that? I'm here. Would I be able to? Do you get what I mean? You just see inspiration. It's so easy to like feel like, hey, I want to try that. Or this person is thinking how I think.
Okay.
I want to do that. Simple as that.
Nice. I hear when you guys say your parents were actually like,
My mom,
you said your mom was actually a hot here. And it was actually surprising for me and Joy. People like saying now why we be Gen Z, and they can't get back.
My mom wore the shortest of things. Like,
Okay, so before I actually get to you, we have a caller actually. So let's pick that, please. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
Hi,
How
hi.
are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So I just wanted to add a bit of 2 cents to the conversation.
Okay.
Speaking to, I think, your guest, what's her name?
Her name is Ife.
If you look at African culture, African history, we have always been associated with a bit of nudity.
Okay.
Some cultures wear just leaves, some cultures just wear, very skimpy things, right? And I believe most of the sexualization of women, is coming more with the modernity of times, not really about the dressing in itself. But it would be nice to know if, since they are the baddies, right? It would
Yeah.
be nice to know if they have had experiences with people just by the way they've dressed up, and people are asking, can I have sex with you, or can I, knock you in your, but in Gen Z language. All right, thank you guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So yes, continuation.
I literally just have to open my Instagram request DMs to show you, like, honestly, yes. Men do, like, hey, I like the way you look. Oh my God, you look so beautiful. Come to my house. Excuse me, you're a random stranger on the internet. I don't know you. What gave you the confidence? I
Heavy
think that's
and
what it is.
random.
That's the
Confidence and
thing.
audacity. What
Heavy
gave you the
and
confidence and
random.
audacity
Okay.
to message me? Because I would never see a stranger on the internet and be like, hey, oh my God, you look so good. Come to my house.
Okay, I think the thing is, before now, right? We have people, like, we have the prostitutes, and most of like how you actually know that this person is a prostitute is actually because of the way they dress, right? So you always see them with their bras, with their panties. You always see them put on some kind of clothes that is not actually very regular. Before now, right? Before actually the Gen Z and the whole freedom thing. So that's how you actually can tell that, okay, this person is a prostitute, right? So I actually think most people still have that perspective, right? So that's why if you're actually thin, dressing in that kind of way, they would actually want to come to your DM. I mean, I think that's actually what gives them the confidence. What do you think too? What do you think?
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like it's more so a mentality thing that you think they still think like that.
Okay.
Because it's like, I know, like, I used to wear anklets in secondary school, and I still have some on my ankle now.
Okay.
And random people were like, OMG, if you wore an anklet back in the day, like you were a prostitute. And my mom was just like, it's an anklet. Like, these are beads. It's African culture. You have your anklets. You have your waist beads. You can think of it two ways. I'm thinking of it like, OMG, this is culture. This is how I'm expressing myself. You're thinking of this like, oh my God, this girl's a prostitute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a flawed way of thinking. It's just all how you look at it.
That's a nice one. How about you, baby girl? What you have? What you have to say?
Pretty
You're a
much.
baddie now, so
Pretty much all that Iffy has said. Like, really, I don't think the way you dress
Okay.
should. I don't think that should give anyone the right to really approach you in
Okay.
that kind of diminishing way. Because, quite frankly, like, it's weird. Like, you actually must be a weirdo if you're coming up. Like, no,
I already
no,
told you what
no,
actually
like,
boosts their confidence, you know.
you must actually be a weirdo. Like, you can't tell me that because, okay, I'm wearing something that shows a bit of skin, that you think you have the right to come up to me and tell me something as insultive as that. Like, do you even know me?
Right.
Do you know anything about me, bro? Like, you don't even know me. Like, why is that the first thing that comes up to your head? I get you have your thoughts, yeah, but keep that to yourself, quite frankly. Literally, keep that to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird behavior.
I get it.
And men who actually do that, you need help.
Oh my God.
You do.
Honestly.
But how do we actually write off that particular perspective they have of you guys?
I don't think it's perspective. I think it's self-control. A lot of people
Yeah.
lack self-control because
Why you say-
just like
Okay.
the example you gave, if you see a man tight looking shirt, like the likelihood of you as a person going up to this man like, hey, you look so good,
Zero.
I want to sleep with you, is low
Zero.
because you have self-control. Like, why don't you have self-control? And the first thing you do when you see me is, hey, I want to sleep with you. What's my name? Am I going to rob you? Am I going to kill you? It's like, why don't all these other questions come to your mind? You don't have any self-control. You see me. Well, to be fair, men have always, like, had that privilege over women where they feel like they can do whatever they want until we
Okay.
started getting rights, like, what, less than 50 years ago, if not that. So it's like they feel like, hey, this used to be the times where I could come up to you, sleep with you, rape you, whatever the case may be, and nothing's going to happen to me. Now things are changing. You cannot do that. So it's like when they see that pushback, they're like, huh? Yes. Why do you feel like you can come up to me and say that? Because it, like, to me, it's not going to roll.
I get it.
It's
Back
just-
then, you would have gotten away with it, but just definitely not now.
Yeah, it's. Oh, sorry.
Joy, you have
So
something to say.
I have a question to ask you, if you're right.
Okay.
I hear you. I hear you completely. The whole self-control thing, very nice and very understanding. However, I want to ask you in terms of, I like the fact you were a psychology and you're a graduate, right? Makes a lot of sense. So this means that there are a lot of Gen Z out there, not just the body,
Gen Z and Gen Z body,
The
who are
difference
actually,
between
I mean, because
and Gen Z
Gen Z
body.
No, but
this
seriously,
is the
there's
first
a
generation.
difference.
I'm saying that you have two in your generation. There's
There's a
generation
difference.
A and generation B in
I
one
mean-
generation, which is fine. It's cool. It's okay. But in the career world, right? In the career retrospect, in the career space, there are, there are ethics to these things. There are dress codes to these things. And I'm going to link my question to a story.
Okay.
Back, I think last year in Nigeria, there's a story of this girl. I can't remember what her name is again. Maybe I'll just try to check. When I check, I'll bring it up to the platform. This girl is a lawyer,
Okay.
but her dressing was, oh my god.
I feel like I know this story.
Exactly. It's a popular story. It went very viral. It went very, very viral. Now, because of her dressing and because of her actions and the activities she does, Lawyers Association had to come up to say, we're suspending you from practicing. Calm down. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
They're suspending you from practicing law. And then she came up in her defense to say, I was never even going to practice it in the first place. I just read a book for reading sake. But that's not even...
Period.
But, wow. That's a period. Like, hello.
She actually studied law.
Exactly.
No, I'm a lawyer. I studied law, and quite frankly, the way I dress doesn't match.
So I like the fact that you studied law.
I did.
So now my question, because when I started, I shall give you one law. So thank God you shall study
I
law.
know.
But I'm not coming to
we
you.
need to go back
I'm
to
not
her
going
law.
to
I need her to read
I
that law
am not coming
expressively.
Allow her
to you.
finish.
I'm coming
Allow
to
her
you.
finish.
I'm not coming to you. Mrs. Lawyer, I'm not coming to you.
Go
I'm
on,
coming
Joy.
to you.
I would attack
So
you.
my question now is, how do you think the career space should mitigate this situation? Because it's one thing to study your career, and you cannot, for you to leash out your career, to leash out your potential in that career that you really want to study, you still have to be in a generation that combines the alpha, the millennial, and the other rest. It's not just you. Remembering that the world you're in is not just the world of only Gen Z and Gen Z body, right? So how do you mitigate that situation? That in the space of other generations who are still in that space, who at the end of the day might be your superior because you're just coming to join the train, how do you mitigate it that they can understand your perspective, that you are not just dressing because you want to dress, but you're dressing to be comfortable? How does it relate?
I feel like honestly it'll be a joint effort because I know that story, and I want to say that I remember it on Twitter. It only got to that point because people started reporting her to the association.
Can you imagine?
Her social media was literally like you couldn't find her. Like she was studying law, but people brought her social media to her place of
Profession.
work, her whatever, because people were like, OMG, why are you dressing like, do you get what I mean? It was like out of spite. And you see this on TikTok a lot, like, are you allowed to record content when you work? This, and that. There are certain jobs, and people say there are certain jobs, like, you really do have to be more careful. And, like, backgrounds, they look at your social media, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, if it's separated, why do you feel the need to know that part of me? Like, it's part of me, but if I'm not bringing it to my place of work, honestly, it should just stay like that, because it's like, is my whole life just going to be work? Don't I have a right to expression outside of it?
Yeah.
If I'm not dressing in a way that might diminish my profession or whatever the case may be, or my superiors, or I'm not going to court like I'm going to the club, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I know how I need to dress to go to court. Like, you don't see a Gen Z baddie dressing to court like they're going to the club. So it's like, why do you then feel the need to know my social media also if it's not something that's like bashing my job, bashing my profession, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about my clients? Why is it a thing that's like, OMG, this person dressed, why is it so pressing, like, to the older generation or whatever,
get
that
it.
you need to know this information?
So when
Right.
you say it's a joint effort, what is that joint effort that you think that needs to be carried out
Joy,
so that we know how to carry it out?
I feel like the joint effort is, honestly, depending on the professions. I know in Nigeria there's certain professions like doctor, lawyer, that are very stringent, like, you need to act like this, you need to be like this. But it's like, if you know the generation we're in, as we continue to go, we're being more and more and more expressive.
Yeah.
You know that the likelihood of these people that you're hiring right now, they're smart, but they could have a life outside of your work. As long as you know that it's not interfering with their work or their clients,
Yeah.
when they're not like leaking sensitive information. It's a joint effort to be like, hey, I know you like this. We might have seen your Instagram, whatever, how they found it, whatever the case may be. But it's like, yo, like, if you're going to court, like, you get just going over the rules, like, because it's like, it's a thing that we know ourselves. If I know I'm going to a meeting with so and so, I'm not going to dress in a certain way because I know how this or that generation thinks.
Yeah.
Or I just know how to compose myself depending
So yes,
on the profession.
that's a nice one right there. I feel like this has actually been well explained, So, I mean, we've actually exhausted our time in the whole... It actually has been an interesting one. Thank you so much, Ify, for coming by. Thank you for stepping by, for actually elaborating or explaining more about the difference between a Gen Z and a Gen Z band.
I really wish this combo could have gone on.
Yes. I mean,
I really
thank you
wish
too, because all of those, if the skirt is not
A skirt
skirting,
should be
if
the
it's not
size
as
of a
short
butt.
as
If it's not the if the skirt,
You heard
only
my
says, and I
girl.
quote, if the skirt is not the size of the bird, that it's not skirting.
so it
not
has
skirting.
actually been an interesting ride till now. Would actually be going home. I'll be coming back tomorrow for sure with another gist that would actually shake this table. So please stay with us till we'll see you tomorrow. Stay with us and do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Till on Monday. See you.
Bye.